Good afternoon and welcome back to the All Book Podcast. We are your Ridgewood Public Library librarians and we are back for another podcast drop set to go on May 7th. We are in our 5th season, episode 8, and we are going to switch things up a bit today. We're going to start it off with Rosa.
All right. So I actually went around everybody's reading
you read every book that we're talking about today.
Not yours though, but that's on my TBR.
All right, you should. You would like it.
I think I would because I don't know. Does everybody have all books that upset them this month?
Yes.
Okay.
I was hysterically crying after my choice.
Yeah. I was just disturbed.
Yeah.
that's all right.
So I don't know what it is, but I don't know if you all know this, but I love Gothic horror is my favorite.
Yes, we know this.
But I find for the past couple of years, I think I discovered I'm enjoying folk horror just as much.
Oh, okay.
And basically folk horror is like that subgenre of horror where it uses folklore to inspire that sense of foreboding and dread and terror. And so it usually involves a rural setting, isolation, themes of superstition, folk religion, paganism, and basically if you have Gothic horror as sort of claustrophobic, then folk horror is everything. The landscape is so wide and terrifying.
Oh, great.
And it's basically the hubris is that man tried to control the land and the land's getting its revenge back.
Right.
Or the sea. It could be the sea.
Okay.
So
a light read. Got it.
Yeah, so think The Wicker Man, The Witch.
Oh, God.
This one, I think The Dark We Know is by Wen-Yi. I think it's kind of falls into that genre, and it's set in the Appalachians, I believe. So this one is about a girl who grows up in an old mining town that's run by a very powerful family. And she feels very isolated because her father's abusive, her mother's distant, and she only has 4 friends to fall on. But 2 of her friends die.
Ooh.
One by, trigger warning, suicide, and the other, she just, the body just washes up in a river. So she can't wait to get out of the town, and she does. She gets an art scholarship, she leaves, makes a life for herself outside, until her dad dies.
Jeez.
And she's not sorry about it. She just has to come back and claim $8,000 from his will. So after the funeral, she plans to take that money and just leave forever.
Got it.
But during the funeral, she finds out that the daughter of the powerful family running the town has gone missing, and the last one to see her was her remaining friend, who approaches her and asks her for help because he says that he saw their 2 dead friends the night that he went to visit their graves. So, and this also coincides with the fact that she's hanging on to her scholarship because she was supposed to present an end of the year portfolio, but instead of going with a theme that's assigned to her, she presented them with sketches of the people in her town dead.
Ooh. Oh, yikes.
And she doesn't remember sketching them at all.
Well, that is
she
a
just
little
blacks
weird.
out. So this is all connected to the missing girl, her friend seeing their dead friends, and basically he's saying, you need to help us because there's something in this town that's causing all these disappearances that goes back to the history of the founding of the town. And the latest sketch she's done is her friend, the one who approached her, and he's dead.
No.
Oh my God.
So they're trying to get to the bottom of it. And in the meantime, she's trying to block out this weird song she hears from the mountains.
Okay.
No. Yeah, see. That's where you draw the line.
That's the weird the weird song coming from the mountains is just my breaking point.
And then her mom is suddenly telling her, don't open the windows, don't open the doors, keep them shut because they're going to see us, they're going to come in.
Oh my God.
That's Isadora, the main character, trying to get to the bottom of what is going on in this town and why is it affecting her and the people close to her, basically. Yeah, that's the dark we know.
All right.
Yeah,
You are
sure
cursed.
Definitely a curse. All right.
Well.
Cool.
Do we have any happy books? in this?
No,
Mine is kind of happy. Mine is kind of happy.
Mine is not happy at
No,
all.
yours is not.
Yours,
Mine's
Ashley?
got
Oh, okay,
No.
cool.
Not, even, not a ray of sunshine to be found in this
Sorry,
one.
folks.
So it actually makes sense for me to go right after Rosa because not only did she read this one, but it kind of plays on like the folk horror as well. So this is the newest one from, I'm going to butcher the name, but it's Tran. Sure. Everybody good with that? Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. And this one is a while back, one of the other episodes I did her other book, She Is a Haunting. But this one is They Bloom at Night. The cover is really disturbing.
It's both her covers were utterly terrifying.
At least I don't even have an upside to it. It's very creepy. For those of you who are strictly just listening, it's basically a girl underwater and her one eye is kind of mutated to look like very swollen and there's like red algae all around her. So sets it up.
I mean,
Kind of
compositionally, it's gorgeous.
beautiful.
Yes.
True.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
true. Thank you, Rose. I was looking for the bright side of that. So this is a post-apocalyptic story set in Mercy, Louisiana, which is a town that has been completely ravaged by a pretty catastrophic hurricane. So it destroyed the town, the economy, everything, but it brought with it a big red algae bloom. So all of the water looks like it's blood red. So already you're like, I don't like that.
Yeah.
So yes, the water is red, but also it mutates the wildlife that lives there.
Of course.
So you,
Chernobyl kind of feel.
yeah.
Okay.
And the descriptions of like the creatures that they pull out of the water are disturbing enough. There's a lot of like body horror with this book, but also just in the descriptions, it's very unsettling. So you have like they went crabbing, and they come up and the crabs are all like they don't. There's just it's a lot. So just don't go into that. Let your imagination run, and that's kind of what they pull up.
Okay.
So the main character, her name is Noon, and she and her mother are indebted to. They're just in debt, big time. And the man who runs the town, his name is Jimmy Bordeaux, and he is corrupt to say the least. But he's basically holding them accountable for their debt. Basically, if they don't pay back their debt, they take their only form of livelihood, which is the boat that they have. So they are they basically scavenge the waters to look for usable goods to sell. That's
I don't want to go in the water.
no, a lot of people don't. And when you follow Noon and her mother, you understand why they don't want to go in the water. So Noon's mother, they are Vietnamese American, and Noon's mother is adamant and convinced that her son and husband are reincarnated sea creatures, that they didn't die, that
my
they are
gosh.
out there.
Okay.
So that's the hope that's keeping her around. Noon, on the other hand, is just haunted by like the images of them. So she sees like in dreams and stuff like that, and even in waking dreams, she thinks she sees her brother all kind of like the cover, like all distorted and weird. And she's trying to deal with the fact that they're gone, and her mother's trying to deal with the fact that they're not gone. So, so they're kind of, it's very clear that Noon loves her mother, but she's also conflicted because she has I think Noon has issues with identity. She doesn't know where she fits in with her mother and her father. Like, she is now, she's on the boat all the time, and that's not something that she was raised to be. Like, she wasn't raised to be like a fisher person. And now she is, so she feels like she's kind of like going against who she was brought up to be, to fill in the shoes and help her mom survive. So anyway, her mother ends up getting injured, and Noon and Jimmy's daughter, Covey,
are now on this mission that they have to find whatever monster lurks in the waters that is currently drowning people. So they need to figure out and find and hunt this monster down. So her mother can't go with her, so it's just Noon and Covey. Covey, when you first meet her, you're like, I don't know how I feel about her, because she's Jimmy's daughter, so you think she's also going to be corrupt. And you realize that she's kind of an independent soul, and winds up being like a pretty good ally for Noon. But as time moves on, you realize that like Noon has quite a rough backstory. So she, right before the big storm, she was assaulted in a cave, or like in the cove, which was like a meeting place for teenagers. She went to a party, she got assaulted, and then the storm hit. So, so she's dealing with all
algae,
of that.
like the manifestation of all her anger.
You could make that argument, but it turns out while trying to hunt down whatever this monster is, it's leading her back to the cove.
Oh my God.
So she's going to have to face her.
Oh, what's in the cove?
Exactly. It's wild. The way that a lot of people describe it is it's atmospheric and unsettling, and I think that puts it very lightly.
That's kind of the vibe I'm getting from it.
It's very, and somebody else, and I think they phrased it perfectly, she doesn't waste a word. And I was like, that works, because every single thing is important in this book. And it's just, it's very unsettling. And what drew me to it was just with like The Last of Us being so big and popular right now. This was mentioned, I think, when like as a read-alike, or if you're interested in this, try for this. And you can kind of see, because there's lots of like morality questions and questions of you know, like identity and trying to figure out where you fit in this new strange world. And then survival, of course. Plus, I mean, The Last of Us is fungus. This is algae. So all weird stuff that no one wants to dabble in.
Also, this author's just amazing. Like this is just the second book, and like this is no sophomore slump.
No.
All right.
No. She's a very. I thought that this one had better flow than She Is a Haunting. I felt like she caught her stride pretty early.
Nice.
And yeah, no, I really enjoy. It's short too, so you'll blow through it. But it was really good.
Awesome.
Yeah, not uplifting, but
Well, sorry to bring the group down even more, but yikes. I'm bringing everybody back to the Hunger Games. We are doing Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. So welcome back to the 50th Hunger Games, people. And in honor of the quarter quell, twice many tributes have been taken. And this is Haymitch's story and the trauma. Oh my God. I was not ready. I mean, he was definitely my favorite secondary character in the series itself. But when you read what actually happens to him, you see Haymitch in a completely different light, like blown away. You know, there is this selfish, careless attitude that is just not a representation of who he actually is in this book. But that was like his coping mechanism. Like that's how he dealt with the trauma of how this hunger. I mean, like the worst part is you know how it ends. You know that it doesn't end well for Haymitch. Again, very much the same style, if not more kind of. I want to say accessible. I don't want to say dumbed down. It's just I just felt like it was a little bit. The reach was maybe she aimed the book towards a younger audience. That it was like. I don't know if that's
it's a rough one.
Yeah. Yes, yeah. But I felt like it was one of those books that I could put down and then like pick back up in like a week and like still be able to like just punch right through it. So
well, I think it helps that we know
story
what's going to happen, 25 years in the future.
Right. So, yes, the timeline, it is 40 years after The Ballad and Songbirds of Snakes and 20 years before the first Hunger Games, just to give everybody a perspective of where this is. Definitely lots and lots of parallel with the original series. Still, oh my God, I have forgotten just how scary and messed up the Hunger Games is, to the T. And it's like when you read and learn about the first Hunger Games in the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, you're like, how did it come from this to where it was with Katniss and, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on his name. PETA. Thank you, PETA. I don't want to say too much because I know some people in this room have not finished it, and I don't want to ruin anything.
Some people listening might not have finished either.
Exactly. But I have to say, I was not disappointed. It was definitely from start to finish action-packed. There is so much about it that, like, you learn about Haymitch and, like, you know, why he drinks so much, why he calls her sweetheart. And I'm going to start crying just thinking
Don't
about
cry.
it. I won't. But, like, again, just to kind of, it's a great echo of what the Hunger Games series is. If you were a fan back in the day, you should really pick up both of the books that have just the prequels, because they really open your eyes to just how horrible Snow is, and evil and vindictive. Like, he's just vindictive. And it's funny, we've talked about this, the relationship with Katniss's father and Haymitch is like something that I didn't expect and kind of questioned a little bit, but it's still, it gives you an idea of just the kind of person that evolved from Haymitch from this, like why he was the way he was with Katniss, why, you know, he lived alone for the most part. So yes, a lot of trigger warnings. I don't think I can get through all of them, but just know that it's definitely worth picking up and reading for sure. Anybody who else in this room that has read it that want to give their
Well, I as we discussed, I really want to know what happened. I haven't yet read Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, but I've read this one and the first three, obviously. And I really want to know what happens between Haymitch's Hunger Games and Katniss and PETA's that changes it so much. Yeah. And there is a new, what did they call it? We had the name even. There's Effie's story. Yeah, is coming out, which Effie kind of just gets introduced in Sunrise and the Reaping.
Yeah. And her character, by the way, is superb in this. Like, they introduce her, and she's just like exactly how you would imagine her at this age.
But fantastic. I feel like I enjoyed reading it, but it also left me wanting more information, which it sounds like it's coming.
I think so, yeah.
So, yes.
Maybe that's
There's
where the
even a
gap is.
cover, and it's like a really sad Mockingjay
Oh, yeah,
on
you
the
said
cover.
that to me. Yeah.
Yeah. Very sad.
Yeah. So, any thoughts, Rosa?
I was just, I think somebody pointed this out, but somebody was like, Suzanne Collins has a thing for older siblings. It's like, you find out Effie's an older sibling.
Yeah.
Haymitch is an older sibling. Like,
Katniss.
Yeah. I think even PETA has like brothers, like, I think.
I feel like PETA may have been the younger one.
I think so.
You could say Tigress was kind of the older sibling. She helped.
That's true.
I haven't read that.
Snow.
Eclipse Beyond the Arena.
Way far
Eclipse
behind.
Beyond the Arena is the new.
That's what it's going to be called,
And we don't know when it's coming.
No. But I'm excited. I mean, again, I loved Haymitch, and again, this painted him in a very different light for me.
Disappoint.
I was not ready for the ending.
Yes.
You thought, like, you just think like, the last couple pages, like, okay, we're at the end. Not so bad. And then,
Yep. Like, guess what? Nope. Not today. Not today.
I can't look at that candy anymore.
Yeah, I know. So bad. No spoilers.
No spoilers.
All right, Britt.
Okay, so mine's a little more upbeat, at least. Okay. Not my usual light and fluffy, but still. I read The Otherwhere Post by Emily Taylor. That is the author of Hotel Magnifique. What are you laughing at?
You father.
Oh, you father. Okay. So, Justin, a little side note here. I listened to the book, and there was no typo in the audiobook, but there was a typo in the book where instead of saying your father, there was a missing R, and it says you father. And Justin put the book down and is like, I cannot read this book. She starts laughing every time you say the book.
I'm sorry.
You father.
You father.
Okay.
You father.
The book, if you listen to the book, you don't catch the typo.
All right.
You're fine. So she wrote Hotel Magnifique, which I really enjoyed too.
Which you read.
I read that
Yeah,
one.
Ashley read that. Yeah.
Very high fantasy, little mystery thrown in there. There are 3 worlds, Imberley, Leyland, and Barrow. And the worlds are kind of overlaid or maybe mirror images of each other. And you can get between the 3 with the magic of scriptomancy. So way back when, the sort of mother of all scriptomancers, I can't speak, created the written doors. And the written doors through scribing and the travel scribe enables people to pass between these 3 worlds. You just go through these doors and you go wherever you want. So when Maeve was very young, Maeve is our protagonist, our heroine. When Maeve was young, she lived in Imberley, and this predatory and very pervasive vine, and poisonous vine, the alder vine, got loose. They had it contained prior. It got loose and starts killing everybody in Imberley. Maeve manages to get yanked out through the written doors just in time. They slam the doors. They burn the doors so that the alder vine can't get into the other 2 worlds. But now everybody and everything in that first world is shut off and cut off.
Yeah.
And we don't have the ability to go back and forth between Leyland and Barrow any longer. Wow. So if your husband was over in Leyland today and you're in Barrow, it's kind of makes me think of the Berlin Wall, like families divided, plus everybody who died in Imberley.
Yeah.
Well, we find out that Maeve is basically on the run and in hiding because her father was posthumously blamed for releasing the alder vine. So she can't say her name. She can't let anybody, she feels like she has to constantly be on the move, partly because they're amongst the various scribings are, in addition to travel, there is tracking. So if you have someone's name and you have a scriptomancer, they can track you down. So if anybody wants to find Maeve, so she doesn't use her name, she moves around constantly. They are working through a backlog of letters that were written and are now being delivered by the Otherwhere Post. The Otherwhere Post are people who can travel between the worlds. They've gone through an apprenticeship program. They are scribes. They can do the tracking scribe and travel between worlds and deliver letters. So Maeve gets this letter that was written like 7 years ago, and they finally got around to doing all of these letters that happened right when they burned down the written doors. And this letter says, your dad's innocent. Meet me here. 15 years ago, or no, it was probably 5 years ago. So she's missed when she could meet this anonymous person who can prove her father innocent.
Wow.
So she goes on the hunt for her dad. And part of it is she's got to get into the other world. So she's got to become a scriptomancer. So she kind of fakes her way into the apprenticeship program, and she's instantly got a mentor who doesn't believe she's who she says, and she's got a roommate who wants to be best friends. And
But she was trained by her dad a little bit.
a little
right?
bit,
Yeah.
yeah. Her dad was a famous scriptomancer, now infamous scriptomancer, and she knew a lot about it, but it's so dangerous that you don't do it unless you're trained. People can die through scribing. So you can do a travel scribe, tracking scribe, a sense scribe. So any emotions and feelings and senses I have with the right magic, I can give to you. A memory scribe, so you can basically relive the memory. And there's a form scribing, and that sort of gives a body or a form to things. So you can have very dangerous scribes let loose that can kill you.
Oh, man.
So, yes.
So yours is definitely the lightest read.
It's the
in this
lightest
room.
read. I really, really liked, how do I want to phrase it? I wrote it down nicely. It's very detailed. It's very authentic to the worlds that she's created. She's created a, high fantasy. It's a whole different world. The system of magic is unique. It's based on words and writing, which is pretty cool, if you ask me. And all Maeve really wants is to exonerate her beloved father and not have to constantly live her life on the run.
Yeah.
So I would highly recommend this one. I really enjoyed it.
I will probably try the audiobook.
If you do the audio, you'll miss the you father.
I'm sorry,
father
I
is
have-
innocent.
I have a weird thing. I couldn't get over it.
You father was blackmailed.
I will say I do remember. I don't remember specifically what, but I remember there being a few issues with Hotel Magnifique.
Yeah.
Too. There were a couple
Typos?
Yeah.
Well, this isn't. Let's not blame Emily Taylor for this.
Emily
This is
Taylor
her
It was a
editor,
publishing
her
thing,
editor.
yeah.
Publishing thing.
Get
yeah.
a better publisher. What
No.
is
They need
better
to get
proofreader,
better
yeah.
proofreaders. Yeah.
Because,
Oh my
like you
gosh.
said, her world building is fantastic.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
the books aren't very long, and she explains the magic. She explains all this stuff really well, and not a lot of pages. It's just listen to it, I guess.
I guess
if you're
I
like
have to-
Justin, maybe
One
listen
of the
to
great
it.
things about listening to it is they are in. Forgive me because my husband is Scottish, but it's possibly Scotland, possibly Ireland. They've got some Gaelic, Celtic kind of accents, which make the listening to it even cooler.
All right, you sold me. You know
And
how I
Tristan
love.
is awesome, her mentor, and he's got a good accent.
Is there a love? That's the love interest?
There might be.
Ah,
There might
sold
be.
with accents. All right, I'll give it a shot.
But you know, Maeve can't ever connect with anyone because she can't let anyone know her name is Maeve.
Right.
That's true.
She has like 3 names in the first 10 pages of the book. So, you know.
My name is Mauve.
No, I think she's Aoife and Isla.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love I love that.
So very Irish.
Very cool. All right. Switching gears, my friends.
right.
We are going to talk about who our favorite villain is. And it's funny, Ashley and I were talking about this. We're like, is it a villain that like we just enjoy reading, or is it a villain that we love to hate?
So villainous.
Villainous. So on a count of 3, name the villain you love to hate. 1, 2, 3. Umbridge. She's the worst.
Yeah.
Absolute worst.
The best in the worst way.
It's
truly.
because she's so like trickly sweet, so sickly, you know, with her little
Oh,
Oh, she
all
was
of it.
so
Also,
perfect.
she's somebody you've met in real life.
That was what I said
Yeah.
before to Britt. I was like, I feel like she triggers those memories of like the worst teacher or the worst, like the worst person in your life. You're like, oh, it's the same person. Yeah, no, she's awful.
Nails on a chalkboard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The
and
worst.
just so like manipulative too, but serves it all with a smile. Like you know, it's just she's really
Yeah.
way worse than Voldemort. My God,
I know.
way
Voldemort's,
worse.
he doesn't try to hide it at all.
No,
you know what he's doing.
She's the worst
Yeah.
by far.
She'll kill you with kindness first before she
Or pretend that it's kind.
Yeah.
It's not-
exactly.
No,
That's the
also
worst.
she's like the pen she has is sick.
Oh,
yeah.
Sick for a kid.
Yeah.
I know, I
sick,
know.
though.
It's
Just going to have you writing lines today.
But that's the best, right? Is
Yeah.
when the villain stays. We've read out this books how many years ago? Exactly.
stays
And
with
she's
you.
still
And
she's
you can
still haunting
remember-
us to this day.
you remember specific things
Yeah.
about it too, and like how happy you were when the Weasley brothers like
Yes.
just destroyed her
Yes.
owl's test. Like
Yes.
that was amazing.
I like my coffee and my tea sweet, but in the movie, when
Oh,
they're
but-
showing her putting the spoonfuls
Yeah.
of sugar in there, ugh.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
And
It
just
was-
the bright pink and amongst the sea of black. It's just awful.
It was so crazy because I just remember the actress. So I was watching. I don't know if y'all have seen this Much Ado About Nothing with and she was in there.
Oh boy.
And she was like, I think a minor character, Margaret, and she was like this really like flighty, like very flirtatious like
Wow.
character. And then you're just like, it's a whiplash. It's like,
Umbridge.
That,
you are a scandal. What are you doing at that window?
that's amazing.
Yeah.
But that's proof of a good actor.
Yeah.
That's
It
if
was
you know. Yeah.
Yeah. Does anybody want to share other than Umbridge who our favorite villain?
What
do you got? What do you got, Brent?
Snow.
Snow. Yeah.
Definitely
up there.
I mean, yeah. I need to read his origin
do.
story. I need to read Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
And
I do.
And let me tell you, it doesn't help because
It doesn't
you
help.
just
All
hate
right.
him.
Well, I
even-
thought
you just
maybe he
hate
would
him
give me
even
some
more.
perspective on him, but
no,
okay.
no. There's no perspective. He's just the worst.
He's just, I mean, and again, with the roses and, you know, how he's got and then Katniss just smelling roses
Yeah.
has her twitching and, on guard. And
Yeah. No, I'm good. Yeah, no, I hate him too. Rosa?
I'm gonna go with a classic and say Lady Macbeth.
Oh.
I adore Lady Macbeth.
Wow.
Why?
And
That's a love to hate kind of a thing. Yeah.
no, I love her. She's
All right. Well, different side of Rosa.
she's interesting, and like I think,
spot.
yeah, like she has the most banger lines.
Yes.
Like, and like you know that any actress who portrays her has to be really good.
Yeah.
Because she's already a bar unto herself, and like I think it doesn't really help just to read.
You have to see it.
You
Yeah.
have to see it.
You have to see it.
And honestly, in any like setting, any alternate universe, she's gonna be really cool. Which is why I like Mini Rant. That Lady Macbeth retelling was so disappointing.
Wait, what? Which one? What?
The new one by Ava Reid, basically defanged, stripped of her like personality,
No.
which is sad because I was so hyped for that, and I love Ava Reid's books, but
Oh, that's
That one was just-
disappointing. Okay.
yeah, but
Ugh.
I love her.
I do. Macbeth is one of my favorite classic reads. I'm sorry. Like, I do love that. And that's probably partly for Lady Macbeth.
Yeah.
That's true.
I'm gonna go with one not from a classic, but I was trying to think outside of what was my go-to, and I couldn't. So I'm gonna go with Annie Wilkes from Misery. She's fantastic.
I mean, that's a classic. It's a classic. Every different
It
story.
is a classic.
I feel like I always go to Stephen King, but like he's the master at coming up with villains. Like and they're. The thing I like about Annie Wilkes, and it's not just because Kathy Bates portrayed her in the movie, because Kathy
But
Bates
that didn't hurt.
No, that
Yeah.
helped it. Because Kathy Bates is perfect, but I think she captured Annie so well, like so well. But there is reasoning behind Annie's madness, 100%, and I can sympathize with it. I'm like, I get it
As a reader.
as a reader. So if you're not familiar with Misery, Annie Wilkes is, I forget what his name is now, but it's basically like a version of Stephen King. So she's a super fan of a writer. I don't remember now.
I'm
I
looking
just,
Immediately, I was like, James Caan.
It is
James Caan is the actor, yeah.
James
Good,
Caan.
good.
So we have Kathy Bates, who's obsessed with James Caan.
That's not it.
That's not it. But anyway, so Annie Wilkes is obsessed with this writer. Absolutely, like lives and breathes.
Paul
his-
Sheldon.
Paul Sheldon. Thank you. Obsessed with him, his writing, and
his character.
and he is done with this character. Like, just wants to wipe his hands and be done
Arthur
with this.
Conan Doyle. Like,
Yeah. He's just done with it. So his publishers are pushing him, so he just releases his final book. We're done. But Annie doesn't like his final book. She does not think that it ended the way it was supposed to end. So rather than just living with this disappointment for the rest of her life, she kidnaps him and forces him.
Any loving author.
any fan of reading would. So she kidnaps him and forces him to rewrite the ending to this story. And it is just, it's one of my favorite Stephen King books, but she's just so unhinged, but she makes you feel like she's not really all that unhinged. Like, I get the disappointment. I understand why I wouldn't like hobble somebody over it. But
Probably not. You're probably not going to.
Yeah, you're not unhinged.
Are you naming your pig Misery, though, and doing pig noises and everything for it?
It's just so good. Like, she is just, and she's also like a tragic character too, because you realize like she's really got nothing, and like that's what her life is.
Yeah, she brought that nothing on herself.
Oh, big time. Yeah. No, it's self-inflicted, but I call my own son a dirty bird because of Annie Wilkes. Like, you dirty bird. Like, she's just funny to me. But she's an awful character, but you can't help but love to hate her. She's so good.
Oh,
That's
man.
mine.
That's
What's yours?
Well, I'm basic.
Let me roll my eyes preemptively.
And I picked a YA villain, and it's the Darkling from the book series Shadow and Bone. Ashley, for anybody that's
He's
listening.
just the stereotype.
Listen, I don't care. I just started the conversation with I'm basic, okay? I have this obsession, and I love tropes that I can fix him tropes, and he is. I can fix you trope.
Even his
Okay.
name, the Darkling. Like, stop it. Give me something more clever.
All right. So just to give you a heads up, I have a problem. I know. And I also have this obsession with like all like my favorite like TV series, book series are people that are like the bad boy that like I think in my head I can fix. So like I'm sorry, Pacey from Dawson's Creek.
Oh my God.
will always be he's here. He will always be in my heart.
Estimation of you just nosedive.
No, but this is what I mean. This is why in my head, when we talked about favorite villain, he was the first one that came to my head because in my head, and also I was gonna say from Young Elites, Adelina Amatreu, like she's also that I can fix trope kind of deal. Like she was born into a life of evilness. Like she was kind of thrust upon it, and he couldn't help it. Like he wanted to do good for his people, for the Grisha, and kind of forced into the darkness, okay? And
Don't be defensive,
time
Justin.
out.
No. You're allowed
Okay,
your
first of
own-
all, Ben Barnes.
He was going to come up.
as the Darkling, it's like the chef's kiss to all. Like, this is exactly the person I needed to play my favorite villain, and he did not disappoint in the show. So
It's interesting how we have, I think, movie versions
Oh, yeah.
of art
Yeah.
or play
Yeah.
versions, which, I don't often do the movies of the books I read, but definitely for Misery and definitely for Harry Potter with
And Snow.
Umbridge
Oh, yeah.
and Snow.
For sure.
The character's portrayal in
like, what was
the medium.
Sutherland, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh,
Sutherland.
he was
R.I.P.
so good.
Fantastic.
He was so good as Snow.
He really was,
He
yeah.
was perfect for Snow.
We were talking about this briefly before. Brittin and I were talking about like what do you mean by your favorite villain? Not just like who do you love to hate, but like why do we like the villains? And,
Right.
and what kind of a villain is it? Is it a character or is it something else?
Clearly, I have I'm a fan of.
That's a type.
I have a fan of red flags.
But because originally Brittin had mentioned the is it a boggart?
Yes.
And
But
Harry Potter.
the Dementor.
Oh,
but it's
right. Right.
Harry's boggart becomes a
Boggart,
Dementor.
right. So we were talking about it
like
from
yeah,
Stephen King,
Ah.
which is
Pennywise.
truly
Yeah.
Pennywise
is a
is
villain.
and the ultimate villain in that
Right.
it can become
It's
whatever
specific to you.
you're
Fear
Right.
of.
like a boggart,
Right.
Even though a boggart isn't really a villain.
It's just your embodiment of what you fear the most. Right. Yeah.
And that's I was going back and forth between Pennywise and Annie Wilkes, but what ultimately Annie I feel like is like that character, whereas Pennywise like you don't because it's different
be
to every
different
single
for everyone.
person.
Yeah.
So is he even really a character or is he a representation of something else? So who's Pennywise on his own?
So deep.
It's it's interesting to think about.
Fear itself.
Yeah.
So, can you say the house and the haunting of Hill House is a villain? I mean, it's a
Exactly.
character unto itself. So.
Yeah.
I have yet
Yeah.
to watch this. I'm so scared. I'm
No,
so
the
scared.
book.
to-
The
oh,
book.
Yeah, you can read it.
Oh, okay.
It's short story.
Yeah.
Is it?
It's a short book.
It's
Short
yeah,
book.
Okay.
no.
Terrifying, though. It was
Yeah,
great.
but it's true. Like, are places considered?
You guys
like
know I'm a big
character?
wimp, so I.
I know, but it's very true because there was another one that I was thinking. I was like, technically, the environment would be your villain. And that was what you were talking about before.
Yeah,
Like,
folk horror.
like in this case, is the algae the
With the mist.
villain or the
If
mist?
we're on Stephen King.
Yeah.
The mist is the best. But yeah, what is the villain in that? Is
Yeah.
it the creatures in the mist? Is it the people?
Who created
Right.
it?
Is it that crazy lady?
That
Definitely
crazy lady.
Definitely that crazy lady.
That crazy lady.
Well, I
yeah.
think we just opened up a new level of this
I know, but
conversation.
it's true though. Like what makes a villain?
Right. No, that's great. Well,
Leaving you with something. to think about.
Jeez, even our question was
I'm
depressing
sorry.
and scary
We,
this one.
we dropped quite a thinker for
Yeah.
our listeners
Happy
today.
spring, everyone.
Hopefully, we'll come back next month with some lighter reads. I can't promise all. I think I
Yeah.
started one and it's pretty depressing.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
But maybe I'll pivot and read something better. I don't know. We have time. All right. Thanks for listening, guys. And thank you for joining me, ladies, as always.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.